There's a movie coming out called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It is going to be hugely popular, and I want to give the viewers exactly what they want, and I'm going to show them who the writers, the directors, I'm going to show them who these people are. And it's going to be some foul language, there's going to be some blood, there's going to be some things in this that, you know, watch out for, but let's show the viewers what they want, okay? So before we get into this, the suicide rate is spiking hugely in pre-adolescent children. This is horrible. March 15th, 2022, okay? The mental health of children has become a big talking point in light of the pandemic, but the study data showed the problem has been percolating for years. Percolating means when, like a coffee, drop, 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 okay? It accumulates. What's going on? Why are people wanting to kill themselves? We've just seen rapidly escalating numbers of adolescents coming in with suicidal thoughts, and it seems like we've been seeing younger patients as well. Look at I made a video that I wanted to commit suicide, young age, like 11, 12 years old. And, well, there's a video I did saying that God saved me from suicide. Go watch that. So I understand what these kids are going through. Now, this movie, Bodies, 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 it is going to really just show everybody what the issue is, what we're dealing with. Let's watch the trailer, and this is very graphic. Let's watch it, and let's see, you know, I mean, it's a very truthful trailer. It's very truthful.
To play Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Oh my god! Does anybody have service?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I'm a hot girl, pop girl, rich girl.
Guys, I get so stressed out every time we play this. Someone always ends up crying.
So how do you play?
And I come in different flavors.
If you draw the piece of your hands while you talk, escalate the situation. That I'm not escalating. You're holding the knife and you're moving your hands while you talk.
That would be so fucking obvious if I were the killer.
Did you just fucking shoot me?
I can't believe you're making this about you.
What are you?
So the people that are making this movie is A24. Now, let's go back to the article. Why are children wanting to kill themselves? Why are they making movies like this, glorifying the thoughts that children are having? It's the devil, okay? If you're watching this, I thought it was a behind the scenes video. What bodies, bodies, bodies? What? The devil is behind the world, pulling the strings and all this filth that you're watching. Now, this movie is actually going to give us a glimpse into Nazis and how the Nazis used drugs, rape, sex, all the horrible things that you can imagine to mind control people, to get away with atrocities. So we're here, America, it is right here. It is beyond. It is Sodom and Gomorrah. So A24 made this movie. Okay, let's go here. Scroll down here. Here's the director. Here's the writer, and we're gonna go through these profiles. Okay, but so let's see who the filmmaker is. This is the newest movie that they're coming out here called Men. This is their newest film, okay? Let's see if there's correlations between the Bible and, well, let's just see if there's any correlations here.
Apple from the garden?
Yeah, it was delicious.
No. Mustn't do that. Forbidden fruit.
Oh, God, sorry,
I'm joking.
Oh.
Tormented?
Feels more like...
Haunted?
Yeah. Something happened. My husband went upstairs to our balcony and let himself go.
You must wonder why you drove him to it.
Why? I didn't drive him to it.
I thought it'd be true. But if you had given him the chance to apologize, he'd still be alive.
What?
That's just one of the trailers. I'm going to show you some more. But what you saw was the devil incarnate talking to this woman and using gaslighting to warp her mind. Okay? Now, here's where we're at, people, in the world, okay? Politically, culturally, everything. Isaiah chapter 3, verse 10. Say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Woe unto the wicked! It shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. Children, women ruling over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. The Lord standeth up to plead and standeth to judge the people. See, we are at a stage where society and decadence is just running amok. I mean, the filth is just going to get exponentially dangerous and more gross unless people stand up. Okay? So, well, that verse says everything. Let's go back to these movies that these people make. Now, this is a scene from the movie Ex Machina. The director, okay, or one of the producers, the producer-director of the movie Bodies, 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 this is their film, okay? Let's just watch the dehumanization. Kyoko. Kyoko. Where's Nathan? Where's Nathan? Jesus Christ, you really don't speak a word of it. What the fuck? Oh, no. Stop. No, don't do that. Don't do that. You don't have to do that. What the fuck are you doing?
I told you you're wasting your time talking to her. However, you would not be wasting your time if you were dancing with her. What?
You tore up her picture.
Everybody's busy. Can't wait for the night to begin. You work.
Here's another film called Lamb. And this is where a hybrid animal, goat man, the devil, has intercourse with this animal. Okay? Right here. And they have a hybrid lamb child. Okay? And this lamb child grows up in a home where the mom and the dad, they couldn't have their own child. They can't have children of their own. So they have this hybrid animal that comes out of this, okay? And they pick up the animal, they take it in their house and they treat it as their own child. And the whole movie is them loving this animal and the animal having a soul, realizing it's being loved, starts acting like a child. And then at the end of the movie, the Satan, the devil, the hybrid animal, human, kills the dad that took care of the lamb, kills him in a brutal way, and then the hybrid animal that's a lamb disowns the dad that took care of him his whole life and goes with Satan into nature. And then the wife sees it all, and it's just a horrible ending. What the heck, dude? It's desensitizing your children. We're gonna get to the Nazis. It's desensitizing your children and desensitizing women and and men brutally. And then this is how dictators get into positions of power, because there becomes a vacuum, a void. People need leadership, and so they look to anybody really that will sound good. And then that person comes into power and does the things that they do. So here, we're in a slow decline, people. Here we go. Here's another one that they've made. Actually, no, this is I just explained to you the film, okay? Now, this is one of the actresses, okay, in this movie, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Right here, Amanda Stenberg, one of the main actresses, her and Maria Bakalova. We're going to look at them. This is one of the films that Amanda, this is a film that she's in here, okay? Let's see if there's any correlation between Bodies, Bodies, Bodies and this and what we're seeing politically.
So it's summer in Salem. And you're suffering through another boring hot July, working part-time at the ice cream parlor. You have earbuds in, music blaring. But one day, your dad says, "Hey, let's go to Virginia Beach." You're walking towards me.
You know, I could see just like the voiceover, like in the studio. I mean, this is how it's done, people. This is the way that they manipulate you all. It's incredible. It's layers of audio and video, just layers of it, and it combines into a crescendo like an orchestra. And I can just see them. Hey, we're gonna do the voiceover for the trailer. Oh, okay. This is a real deep, raspy voice. I mean, you've been fighting hard. Okay, so this is how they manipulate the public. Parents, wake up. Start shutting this stuff off, okay? Once you understand the gimmick, once you understand how they manipulate the mind, it's easy to combat. It's easy to get rid of the snares of the devil. Okay, so that's her. Now, I'm going to show you the other actress. In this clip, she's an intelligent lady. She sounds intelligent, and she has this vision of, well, you're going to see this good-hearted vision of hers. Then what the heck are you doing in videos where you're destroying bodies and you're making fun of death?
So my dream and goal is to create more opportunities, again, for people from my region of the world, artists like Mina and Vesila, my directors from Women Do Cry that I'm here right now with, and just make this exchange that has been happening before, I think in the 20s. And then something happened, I think the Cold War or World War II, where the bridge between the Western cinema and Eastern European actors have been broken completely. So I think it's time for us to reunite again and stand up for each other and create more projects that embrace different countries, embrace different nations, especially in the rise of this craziness that is happening right now in this place in Eastern.
Then she goes on to say that, like, the Russians, don't demonize these people, this, that, and the other. But then she's going out and doing these horrible things that are demonizing the people. Do you understand? They have an unstable mind. It's unstable, it's gross, and you can see it in the filth that they put out. It's unorganized, just garbage. And they have beautiful musicians that can put it all together for them. And they get paid handsomely to do it. because the love of money is the root of all evil, and they will make it. They will make you whatever you want, just as long as they get that money. So here's the director, okay? Halina Reijn is a renowned director, actress, author, and producer. She is the winner of multiple awards, including the Dutch Film Award, the Golden Calf, for Best Actress, the Dutch Theater Awards for Theater Core, blah, 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 blah. Now, Hollywood is bringing in newcomers, okay? People that will take Hollywood and take the stuff that you see to the next level. How do I know this? The people that wrote this movie that's going to be hugely popular here soon, they don't have a filmography. They have barely anything in their production list. This woman's brand new. She wins the Golden Calf Award, many of them. Okay? She's from Dutch, by the way, Amsterdam. Okay, Amsterdam's hugely popular here, and we're going to get to that. Here's this TV series. It's brand new that she's making. Oh, Red Light, that she's been a part of. An actress, Red Light, talking about prostitution and whoremongering. Here's the Golden Calf Award that they're getting, and we all know that the Golden Calf it's biblical. They like to hide it and say, oh, well, there's the golden bear, there's the golden sheep, there's the golden cat, and, well, we wanted the golden calf for Netherlands. Well, I think that the golden calf is associated with many things, not just things that have to do with the Bible, but sin. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mountain, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, make us gods, which shall go before us, for this Moses, the man that brought us out of the land of Egypt. We wot not what has become of him. We don't know what's going on with him. And Aaron said unto them, break off the golden earrings. And the people did. And he received them at their hand and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made it into a molten golden calf. And they said, these be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. So the people know God. They see the miracles of God. And because of their impatience and their lust and their idolatry, they decide that they want to make a golden calf. Do you understand what just transpired right now? All of the things that just happened. I'm talking about the filth, the disgusting stuff that only Satan could dream of. Okay, the Antichrist spirit. And the juxtaposition of the creation that God had that's perfect and where we are today. And how the new idols that are being propped up, the golden calves, are making movies like Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. We're living in a time where children are being sacrificed like the Old Testament. One of the guys that helped create this Dutch film industry and the award ceremony about the golden calf, his name's Wim Verstappen, okay? And he's known for this movie right here. A youth entering from Paris deals in drugs and participates in rebel street demonstrations by the anarcho-provo guerrillas. I wonder why. Do you see the correlation here? Bodies, 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 drug use, death. And there's some other films here. Confessions of Loving Couples. It's a triage, a love triangle. Okay. And the man wants to get rid of the love triangle, and he can't figure out who he wants to be with, and so he has another man come in the scene, and they end up sharing the women. Michael is released from prison for a sexual offense, enjoying himself carnally with a 15. These are the movies these guys make. Now, Amsterdam. Okay, the red light district that this lady is an actress in, in a film or whatever show that she's doing that's talking about Amsterdam, the red light district. Yeah, here we go. See this little image? I'm going to tell you a story. So I traveled abroad, and one of the places I went to was Amsterdam. Okay. And in Amsterdam, I decided to stay on the outskirts of the city. Everywhere I went, I stayed at brothels or a place outside of the city, and I studied because I'm paying for this stuff. I'm going to study, okay? I'm not like these rich people I'm with, these rich kids, and they're all just, one of them slept with 3 women one night. I told him how disgusting that was. I will not lie, the temptation was there because of all the filth, and I didn't. I kept watching, and I thank the Lord Jesus Christ that because I was in a bad spot, people, he took that away from me. And I watched. I did, and I watched. And I mean, it's just, Amsterdam is not a place. So that this right here, the story is when you're walking into it, why is this? It's because when you walk into Amsterdam, you're losing a piece of yourself. Because of the sin. Where are we at? Look at the movie Bodies, Bodies, Bodies coming out. We have lost ourselves, people. We need to go backwards. So this is what the Nazis would do. Drinking rituals, masculinity, and mass murder in Nazi Germany. During the Third Reich, alcohol served as both literal and metaphorical lubricant for acts of violence and atrocity by the men of the SS and the SA and the secret police. Scholars have extensively documented its use and abuse on part of the perpetrators. For the secret police, the consumption of alcohol was part of a ritual that not only brought them together, but facilitated their performative masculinity, a type that expressed physical and sexual violence. In many respects, the relationship among alcohol, masculinity, sex, and violence permeated all aspects of the Nazi killing process in the camps, the ghettos, and the killing fields. After the outbreak of the war, German granddaddy of crystal meth. Crystal meth is notorious for being highly addictive and ravaging countless communities. But few knew that the drug was linked to Nazi Germany, where it became very popular, and the soldiers in the army were using it. This is history. When countries, men go to war, when any atrocities are being taken, when children are being sacrificed in the altars and during the Incas and the Aztecs and throughout history. Sacrificing children and to Moloch, the things that they put in movies that people laugh about. So when people when these things happen, they give the people high amounts of drugs so that their mind is melded, it's gone, their conscience is seared, and they go out and they could do whatever they can take the murder, or they can go out and do it. Little children, literally, they would, and look at the documentary Lightyear, a space flight ranger. It's the last documentary he did. And I show that children would be 6-7-year-old children, women also would be drugged up, and then they would be put on top of the pyramids, and knowing for weeks that they were going to die, being dosed with drugs, so they had no idea what was going on, and when they're getting ready to be killed, they're happy and they're smiling about it. We're getting very far, people, okay? Here's what sorcery is about, pharmakia, okay? Pharmaceuticals, drugs. If people want to take drugs, let them take drugs. Okay? People drink a lot of coffee. Coffee is a big drug. Okay? Sorcery and pharmakia, sorcery is from the Greek word pharmakia, pharmaceuticals. And what people would do, and I'm going to show you here, the Nazis would do this, high-uppers in the in the Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime. Adolf Hitler was even doing these things. They take the drugs, and then they have hallucinations and they have thoughts of grandeur, and they become godlike in their own minds, and they start committing atrocities and doing horrible things in the name of the self-professed Lord. So here we go about sorcery. That Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. Exodus 22:18, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Galatians 5:19-21, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness. Isaiah 18:19, and when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep and that mutter, should not a people seek unto their God for the living to the dead? So if you look, Joe Rogan, for instance, he's hugely popular. People, when they take these drugs, they start talking to familiar spirits. They become themselves wizards. Okay? Now, people go, wizards? Oh my goodness. Well, don't they find a lot of entertainment in Harry Potter and those things? Don't you guys find a lot of entertainment in that? Why is it weird to talk about it in the Bible? So, these wizards were drugged up Indian, what are they called? Chiefs. You know, I'm blending them all together, but that's what they were. These medicinal chiefs. I can't think of the name, but they became wizards, and they would hand out drugs and pharmakia, and then they would medicate people. This is where it gets. This is where it's a deep dive, just a quick deep dive into Hitler and the mind and how powerful it is. So, mass formation psychosis, peer pressure is what I like to call it, just very easily peer pressure. We're falling off a cliff like lemmings. And the Christians that are out there and those that are hearing me and listening are the ones saying, stop, stop, stop. And we have got the alert of a lot of people. We just need to inform them so that they can turn and go the opposite direction. Now, this is how the mind is a force to be reckoned with. 30 days at the shooting house, the strange case of Dr. Edmund Forster and Adolf Hitler. Archives of clinical psychiatry. In 1918, in a military reserve hospital located in a small town, Pacewalk, Professor Edmund Forster treated an Austrian corporal called Adolf Hitler, suffering from a war neurosis, hysterical blindness, by means of suggestive techniques. Soon after Hitler's ascension to the power in the Nazi Germany in 1933, Dr. Forster met with a group of exiled writers living in Paris and secretly gave them information about the case. The writer Ernest Weiss, also he a physician, later used this information in order to produce his novel The Eyewitness, which he would publish in 1963. In strange circumstances, Professor Forster committed suicide after successive defamatory statements in 1933. Weiss also committed suicide in 1940 when German troops invaded Paris. The Gestapo murdered several other persons involved in Hitler's medical chart. So, in the 30s, you had like the golden age of psychology. 20s, 30s, 40s, really. Okay? And Sigmund Freud, the father of psychology, or whatever they call him, these people are sick. The government, they spend untold millions of dollars, okay, to research humans, to use reverse engineering to go back and find out what makes people decide things, and then they use the emotional responses in movies and the like to manipulate you. Let's go back to Bodies, the trailer, and why are they wanting us to see that? Why is A24 and these new filmmakers, why are they putting out this type of stuff? Who's financing this? I'm not going to get into all that, but I mean, the devil's doing this. The only way to resist the devil is to obey Christ, speak the truth, and abhor the evil, shun it, and ostracize it and call it out. And don't finance it. So here are the two men that in this book, and I haven't read it. I want to, but I've done a lot of research, and it all's pointing back to this book that I need to get it and read it. A hypnotist cured Hitler's shell shock and sparked World War II. These two men are being held responsible for using psychology and brainwashing techniques to prop Hitler into power. And then not only that, but when Hitler did get into power, you had IBM, you had Ford, Standard Oil, you had the largest corporations that have brought upon COVID and lockdowns to us and wanting tyranny. You had them prop up Hitler and push him into power. Do you understand how the mind is incredibly powerful? So that's why Christians need to use it. Edmund Robert Forster. In October 1918, Adolf Hitler was blinded by a British gas attack. Doctors diagnosed his loss of sight as due to mental breakdown rather than physical injury. Sent to a nerve clinic far from front line, Hitler was cured by naval doctor Edmund Robert Forster by means of hypnosis. While his sight was restored, the treatment left him convinced every action he took was dictated by a supernatural power. This is all, we're going to get to this where it's documented, okay? This man, same thing. Media tycoon, clairvoyant, hypnotist, millionaire, Nazi supporter, and unfortunately, a Moravian Jew. Dubbed the prophet of the Third Reich, Hanussen used hypnosis to reinforce Hitler's belief in himself as guided by divine power. He also hosted sexual orgies at his luxury yacht for top Nazis, paid the gambling debts of commanders, and funded the Nazis and promoted Hitler through his media empire. On October 25th, 1918, Forster used draconian hypnotic and special treatments, suggestive treatments, brainwashing techniques on Hitler. It is known Forster treated Hitler with autosuggestion, which allowed Hitler a week after the end of the war to be fully recovered, discharged, and returned to his regiment in Munich. After the war, Hitler decided to enter politics. Nothing more was said of the doctor who treated him or the method of treatment. No word was ever heard about the events in Passwalk. Hitler never complained of the visual disturbances and did not return to any doctor to continue treatment. It goes on to say that when Hitler rose to power, that he basically wiped out every single person that had anything to do with using hypnotism to help elevate him into power. This is all documented. I will leave these certain clips that are important. I will leave them in the description so that you can go look all this stuff up. I'm not a historian. I'm not an archaeologist. I'm not going to do any of that, but I'm telling you, this is what I'm finding. And you can do it yourself. Now, but you have to have discernment so that you can find out who's lying and who's not lying, okay? I don't know, but I'm looking at this and it's pretty evident, and I'm pretty convinced, and I'm not judging or anything like that at all, but the Jewish psychic who tricked Hitler. Now look at this. This is how they gaslight you. They lie to you. Okay. Here we go. It says that okay, hang on. Yeah. As Hanussen continued to perform both publicly and privately, he found himself under fire from local newspaper commentators who shared the Czech concern that he was defrauding the public. One paper published the accusation that he was not Danish, but Jewish. But he is Jewish. Okay, now that's just the gaslighting techniques, okay, used by these people. Here's what he would do. Hanussen wasn't content with wealth and fame. Sensing the rising influence of the Nazi Party, the mentalist ingratiated himself into the Reich by befriending stormtroopers and eventually finding a seat as a confidant of Adolf Hitler. So what he would do is he would rub Hitler's head, do all the things, and said that you're a god, Hitler, and that you're going to rise to power, and you just keep going. Well, eventually, just like all communism, they want to kill everybody. It's Satan. It's the devil. So Hitler decided to want to kill this man after I believe they came into Paris and where he was living, and they decided we're going to do away with you because Hitler doesn't want anybody associated, and he wants to get rid of all of his history because he's soon going to be he's going to run the whole world. He's going to be a god. So you have these, I'm going to be ending this here soon. You have these philosophers that really diagnose the human psyche, right? And psychologists now, but philosophy, in the golden age of philosophy, this is what they were doing. They were breaking down theology and the soul and the spirit, and they were finding out who are we? What are we doing here? Well, in the Leviathan, okay, is written in 1651. Okay, this is a crescendo effect of philosophy, okay, political science. These people writing this. Hobbes stated that the way to create a commonwealth, meaning a tyranny, is to unite the multitude in one and the same person. The image below conveys Hobbes' conception. At the Nuremberg rallies, Hitler fulfilled Hobbes' fantasy, the West's central political ideal. Many bodies united within the body of the sovereign. Hitler proclaimed to his youth, "You are the flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. You are all one, belonging to me." Here's all the people. Their backs are turned. They're looking at the king and the king. Isn't this a little perverted? Isn't Jesus Christ? Aren't we all family, the Christians, a family in Christ? And that all of us have a purpose and that we all unite and we work together for the common good? Do you understand how the devil uses the Bible? I'm telling you, every single thing in life, it comes back to the Bible. It comes back to Christ and his word and his truth, his beautiful truth. And what they do is they layer the deception over it. Here's just, this is, so when people say, oh, Hitler was a Christian, he was an atheist. Hitler thought he was a deity. So this is a writing from the Leviathan. This is what they think of Christians, these people. This is in the apparitions or visions part of Leviathan. And I'm telling you, most of it is gobbledygook. It is gobbledygook, okay? So, but this is important. But that he does is so that it does so often, as men need to fear such things, talking about God, more than they fear the stay or change of the course of nature, meaning evolution. These things need to happen. The body politic needs to grow, which he also can stay and change, is no point of Christian faith. But here we go. This is how perverted they are. But evil men, under pretext that God can do anything, are so bold as to say anything when it serves their turn, though they think it untrue. It is the part of a wise man to believe them no further than the right reason makes that which they say appear credible. What's that saying? This is what atheists do. They clump because of the poor Christians, which we're going to end this on. The poor Christians that are doing a horrible job of putting the Bible out there, putting out truth, but have no idea what the wisdom of God says. They are putting out this junk, and then they're doing the opposite of what God says, and they're relishing in the lies. And then you got evil men who really are evil putting out this garbage, who then brainwash the supernatural, the super learned navel gazers, the thinkers, and they end up becoming into positions of power and genocidal maniacs who end up ruling all aspects and institutions of our culture and government and in business, because weak men who should be very strong allow them to. They don't stand up. This is a writing from a Marxist paper, Behemoth and Leviathan. Okay, this is just it's about the book that we're talking about. Okay, Behemoth and Leviathan, the fascist bestiary of the alt-right, goes through all this gobbledygook. Okay, and this is this is where it all comes down to. If Marxism wants to confront fascist fables, then it must come to grips with its own animal spirits. Well, let's look at their animal spirit. Let's look at the spirits that they tap into.
not just work that we do on the ground. This is not just a social justice, a racial justice, an economic justice struggle. This is also a spiritual struggle. Because as an African person in this country, we know that we were brought over here as chattel, and once they banned those slave plantations, many of those very same plantations were morphed into prisons, which continue to enslave us. So this is ancestral and spiritual work that we must do. And so we're going to pour libation in the names of our ancestors, and I'm going to ask you all to join me. So I hope that most of you are familiar with the pouring of libations. It's a summoning of energy. So we summon those energies, we summon those spirits who are still with us, we summon those.
She ends up summoning spirits with water and doing what King Saul did at the end of his kingship, going and consulting with wizards, sorcerers, those that deal with pharmakia, drugs, and wanted to go see a ghost. Go look at this up. Go look this up. People that don't believe me, go look this up. Him wanting to see the ghost of Samuel and see what happens. Okay, so this woman wanting to bring up energy, all these things, okay, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And what's evil about BLM and Antifa and all these things, and even the far right and the far left, they bring up points that are very valid. The police, I mean, just look at the police. It's just, I can't believe what's going on. I can't believe that they stood down and let a shooter inside the school for an hour just pop off kids. So you have problems with the police. You have problems with them arresting. I mean, it's, the evil is insurmountable. And they bring up good points and then they twist it and they use it for evil means. Now, let's just look at the pastors and the people that are good Christians. Oh, let's see how they use. Let's see the stuff that comes out of their mouth.
He was a key player in the Manhattan Project. Graduated, some cum laude. Summa cum laude. From the Bible how to go to heaven and led him to the Lord over the phone. He said, now what if I sin again? I said, oh, there's a difference between the children of God and the children of the world. You can both do the same sin, but it's handled differently depending on if you're in the family or not in the family. If I sin, God handles me like a son. If you are not in the family, you're going to be punished by a judge. God will be your judge, whereas he is my father. Yeah, you Christians think you can sin and get by with it? Well, it's not going to be brought up Judgment Day, but he's going to handle it here.
I'm going to end it on this. Revelation 22:12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according to his work. Find out what the work they're doing and who is it for. Is it for their belly? Is it for their career? Who's it really for? Because I think Paul was a tent maker. I think Paul was working. He didn't ask for money when he was doing the Lord's work. Think about that. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life. Anybody has right to the tree of life that obey, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without those that are outside of God, and his kingdom are without dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. I think God has judged this world, and I think he's going to judge it again. I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. And the Spirit and the bride say, come. And let him that heareth say, come. And let him that is athirst come. And whosoever will, let him take the water of life freely. If you're watching this, I'm crazy, you thinking I'm crazy, what's going on here? Watch this again. Watch the documentaries in the list that we have on our channel, okay? Watch the documentaries that we have on our channel. Just flood your mind with God's word. Reading the Bible. I can help facilitate and break down what the world is feeding you and into digestible meals. And then, but what you really need to do is get down into the Bible and really prepare your own meals. I'm just preparing you something so that you can eat, and so that but the Bible is everything. That's where you make your meals. That's where so that you can eat and you can learn yourself. So Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. John 8:32, ye shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free. And the truth is the Lord Jesus Christ, because if he holds all things together and he's the truth, what breaks things down? Aren't you seeing that? The lies of the devil.